It's high noon.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Broncos Gaming World. Today we're taking a look at the Imperium's Masterclass War Crimes Machine, the Hellhound tank for the Imperial Guard. And before we get any farther, please consider liking and subscribing to this video, and let's go ahead and get to it. Okay, so here we have my fully painted Hellhound tank here. Went with my standard, the green skin for the main coloring. I did a black undercoat on this one, which I like better. I'm probably going to start using the black undercoat a little more. Went with the bronze on the Aquilas and stuff on the side. The fuel tanks and piping in the back is the Pro Acryl white gold color with the Nuln Oil wash. Bunch of decals on it. I did the bronze again on the front on the Inferno cannon there. I do have a chip on my damn freaking heavy bolter there that I need to fix, but otherwise I think the tank came out really good. I think the model looks nice. It's a great model kit. I just he's just funny, and he's got kind of a niche as far as his usefulness in the game, but still freaking great model though. Alright, let's take a look at this abomination that is the Hellhound. It's got a move 10, toughness 10, an awesome save of 2+, 11 wounds, leadership 7, and a OC of 3. So this is a big upgrade from where it used to be. I think it used to have a 3+ save. So just bumping the toughness up by 1 over the Chimera and its save up by 1 makes this thing much, much tougher, much more difficult to deal with compared to normal vehicles that use the Chimera chassis. Now, to go down the horror track that is this vehicle, let's look at its weapons loadout. It's got the always present war criminal chem cannon, anti-infantry 2, and it's a torrent weapon. Range 12, die 6+1 attacks. It's only strength 2. That really is irrelevant for the most part unless you're shooting it at something that isn't infantry. AP -2 does 2 damage, so it's absolutely catastrophic against most infantry with the wounding on a 2 or better, which is fantastic. It's short range, really hurts, but you wheel this thing out against like Space Marines or anything equivalent, and they're gonna freaking cry bloody freaking murder that their Space Marines are just melting in front of the chem cannon using the chemical weapons on them. Of course, you can throw the heavy bolter on it or a heavy flamer. If you want to go, I mean, if you want to push all your chips in, you just throw the heavy flamer on it too. So you're just burning everything or melting it. Obviously, you're going to run a 100 kilo missile here in 10th end because it's free. Then you have the other cannon options, which is the Inferno cannon. Ignores cover, which is fantastic. And it is a torrent weapon, just like the chem cannon. So it auto hits anything within 18 inches. That extra 6 inches, just like the ladies always say, it's nice. An extra 2d6 damage instead of just 1d6 +1. Strength 6, AP -2. It only does 1 damage, but this one's a pretty good universal weapon against all infantry types. It's strength 6, vaguely reasonable against super light vehicles. Then you could go with the more tank bustery one, running the melta cannon, blast weapon. Still has the 18-inch range. Die 3 hits, which is meh, pretty damn weak. Hits on a 4 better, so you lose the torrent, which means you actually have to roll to hit with this piece of shit. Strength 9, AP -4, which is great. Does die 6 wounds, plus if you're within 9 inches, you get the extra 4 wounds from the melta. And if you're going to go the melta, you may as well push all your chips in and throw the multi-melta on the front as well. Obviously, that one's the same strength, same damage, 2 attacks, which in my opinion is straight up better typically than the melta cannon, just because the melta cannon you can straight up get just 1 hit out of it if you're firing at a vehicle. So many of the weapons are just its armored tracks, 3 attacks, web skill 4, strength 6, AP 0, 1 damage. Still pretty good to use for like a tank shock ability. It is a vehicle from the Imperium, because only the Imperium would put some heinous monstrosity like this on the board. It is a squadron vehicle with smoke. So that's smoke is always a good thing to be able to use that smoke stratagem for. All right, let's look at its abilities here. Core's Deadly Demise die 6. I feel like that should be worse considering that it is a vehicle that's wheeling around with explosive or hazardous chemicals housed in the back of it, but the Deadly Demise die 6, I feel like it should like blow up on like a 5 or better instead of just on a 6 or something like that. And then it's got a pretty solid ability of flush them out in your shooting phase. After this model has shot, select one enemy unit that was hit by one or more of these attacks until the end of the phase. That unit cannot have the benefit of cover, so it does not matter what you shot at them. You can fire the damn heavy bolter at it, and it still means that they get flushed out, and until the end of the phase, that unit cannot have the benefit of cover. So you could play a move like splitting fire, like using your chem cannon or something on a bunch of infantry, and then fire your heavy bolter or multi-melter or whatever at a vehicle. And if that vehicle happens to be covered enough to get, cover from the terrain, you can choose that one to not get the cover and tell that vehicle to F off. It does have the bracketed 1 to 4 wounds remaining. They get subtract 1 from its to hit roll. So I think the Hellhound comes in at 125 points, which I feel is about right on par. I mean, I've tried building lists with using the Hellhound, and it's kind of a pain in the butt just the way the point structure lays out. You usually end up with being over by like 5 points or under by 5 or 10 points. So, but overall, 125 is a good price for it. It's a solid vehicle, a lot tougher than it used to be. There really doesn't have any downsides to it universally. It's not great against vehicles, even though it does have the melta cannon. It's that strength 9 that just makes it not as great against vehicles. You're wounding most vehicles on a 5. Any tough vehicle that you'd want to be able to get that melta damage on, where you're getting that 4 plus die 6 damage, they're going to have toughness 10 or 11. Or your really bigger vehicles have toughness 12, or Lord help you, if you're looking at a Titanic or a Knight or something, toughness 13. It's just not good enough against vehicles. I would almost never take the melta cannon unless, I would have to have better options. I think if the melta cannon had to be an option, I'm probably not taking a Hellhound, if I'm being honest. I just don't think it's worthwhile to take. But the chem cannon, man, if you're playing against infantry, especially decently armored infantry, the chem cannon is an absolute nightmare against infantry. I don't like the 12-inch range because that puts you in the zone for getting charged, and there's definitely plenty of things that can charge you and take you out easily. And the Inferno Cannon is great. The Inferno Cannon is just perfectly great. I wish it did 2 damage, but it's 2 die 6 hits. That's strength 6 with AP 2. Auto hitting, you can't ask for much more than that. You pair that with a heavy flamer, you're hitting a whole bunch of guys for a whole shitload of damage. And if you happen to be targeting like the unit that you have like Fields of Fire on, you're talking AP 3 for the Inferno Cannon and the Chem Cannon. So that's just absolutely devastating to infantry. So this guy, great against infantry. I would not take it if I was going against a mechanized army or some kind of knights or something like that. I don't think I'd take it. I don't think the melta cannon is good enough. All right, so you can replace Chem Cannon with, or the Inferno Cannon with Chem Cannon, Melta Cannon. We just discussed that. You can swap the Heavy Flamer that it comes with a Heavy Bolter or Multi-Melta. Either one is good. I would probably keep the Flamer, and the Multi-Melta is probably the only other thing I would entertain using. And I would always, in 10th edition, throw the 100 killer missile on it. And you can, that's it. So there you go, guys. Hellhound, the Imperium's war crime machine. It's pretty good. I think if you're playing like a mechanized force, running lots of chimeras, or the big Titanic transports, or even like an Air Force airdrop army, I think you could use these. They're a good close support unit for infantry. They're definitely going to draw the attention of your opponent if they have a good amount of infantry on the board. They're going to draw some attention. Your opponent will not like this guy, and he will definitely take some fire off of some of your more squishy units. So there you go, guys. Imperial Guard Hellhound. It's pretty solid. It's pretty fun. So use them if you think you can find a good use for them in your infantry armies. And till next time, guys, please like and subscribe here on Broncos Gaming World, and I will see you guys again soon. Take care.
Boom goes the dynamite.